Hello and welcome back to another episode of Mystery Red Reads. I'm your host, Mystery Red, and this is my disclaimer. This beta read in Concord is at the author's request. This video is for learning purposes. Today we're looking at a piece of original fiction. We are looking at, oh my goodness, we are back with Crystal Committee, and I am trying to get my act together. Let's see. Today we are looking at, I believe we said she and I were speaking, and I think Yep, 16A of Infinite Shades. Okay, so we're back with Crystal Committee and Infinite Shades, and I was not quite sure. I know we were messaging back and forth, and I thought, no, I finished 15. I think that's what we decided. Was I finished 15? Let me check one more time. Okay, that's correct. So I finished 15. We are on 16, Part A. So 16 has been broken up into two parts, Part A and Part B. So we're going to do two separate videos when my author separates it out, because it'll help them when they're doing their edits to find the spot and not have to flip back and forth between multiple places. So that's what we're going to do. And she's got notes for me in here. Looks like, okay, mostly this first paragraph of notes is telling me that this is where I'm at. All right, we're going to dive in. We're just going to dive in, and then I'll go back and read the rest of my notes later. Okay, audience summary for Mystery Red Reads and audience. Okay, I don't understand. I guess it's just easier for an edit tracker to swipe out the whole entire word, even though I just needed to swap out one little letter. But whatever, it can do what it does. There's a note up here, and I kind of wanted to read it, but it won't. There it goes. And let me scroll up. Wow. Okay, let's see. So previously in Chapter 14, Sam takes Riley to a neighborhood pharmacy. They discover some discrepancies in the records. You know what I didn't do? I need to set a timer because I do have carpool today. So there we go. All right. They discover some discrepancies in the records. They settle in at a diner. Sam gives Riley her phone and leaves rather unexpectedly. For Sam, the committee is becoming really boisterous, loud, and nearing overwhelming levels. She kind of makes a deal with them to settle down before she implodes. In Chapter 15, Sam sets up a meeting between Detective Bryant, who is undercover Homeland, and Chavez, her fellow teammate. She, in a near-violent outburst, burns her bridge with the local PD and puts Chavez in place as a liaison between the department and the FBI. In a way, she cuts through the bureaucratic red tape she sees coming and provides them information. It ends with Sam exiting the building after she pushed Chavez's buttons to an angry outburst. She played the get the bad guy at any cost, and he defended that the cost was too high and the little people mattered. We pick up here in Chapter 16A with Riley in the restaurant, and the warrants they requested in Chapter 14 arriving. I split this chapter A, Riley's point of view, and B, Sam's point of view. I don't know if I'm going to make them into actual chapters or just do a chapter break where I shift point of views. So thoughts on that. Okay, however, keeping in mind that it's been 3 weeks and I'm reading for like 4 different people right now. Just because you guys don't always see a video posted doesn't mean I'm not reading for someone privately. And I do have several of those clients as well. So this is what I'm going to say. Whatever format you've been using to shift points of view, continue doing that. If that has been shift of point of view, this is kind of for everyone as a whole, okay? Just not just Crystal Committee, but my audience as a whole, when trying to decide how to handle a point of view switch, whatever you've been doing, keep doing that consistently. So if you have been doing midway chapter point of view switches indicated by some kind of little asterisk in the center of the page or some symbol or something to kind of indicate that something has changed to the reader, then continue to do that. If you have exclusively switched points of view from chapter to chapter back and forth between two characters, then continue to do that. Some people some authors will have done not only a chapter to chapter point of view switch, but also a mid chapter switch as well. Whatever you choose to do, just be consistent and make sure that you are in the headspace and in the point of view of that one character, and that that's clear to you until it switches, and then that is clear to you or the reader at that switch, if that makes sense. If anything comes up, we'll note it as we go, but whatever you've been doing is what I would recommend to continue to do so that you are consistent. If we change up when we're making formatting decisions, if we change it up in the middle of the story, it is a disruption to the reader's experience, which is ultimately what we do not want, and that is why we nitpick. All right, so with that, let's dive in. Let me go back up here to my spot. Section 1, edited, okay. Riley sits in the booth working on the tablet. He glances at Sam's cell phone, debating whether to make the call. Unable to focus, he returns to the device, but his progress is slow. The data on the screen blurs. His thoughts drift to Sam, where she is, what she's facing, and why she left him with this task. The tablet's cool surface reminds him of his isolation. He feels alone, adrift in a sea of data he barely understands. Getting notification the agents have arrived, Riley locks the tablet, pockets Sam's phone, and heads out to meet them. Outside, the arrest is already underway. Police cars block traffic as Pruden and his men are forced to the ground and cuffed. 2 men stand nearby, observing the arrest with detached curiosity. They're an odd pair, one lanky, the other built like a bulldog. The taller one approaches. Agent Riley. He glances between them. Yeah, and you are? Agents Quinn and Steffler. The shorter one flashes their credentials. Where is Agent Clemens? Steffler hands him a folded bunch of papers. Let me guess, he smirks. She left you holding the bag. Had some pressing business. You might have her unpress it, as in now, Quinn mutters. She's listed as the custodial agent. We can't take them off their hands if she's not here. He hands the tablet over to Steffler. There's enough here you shouldn't have a problem. Let them have the collar. Riley doesn't lift his gaze. They have more reason to arrest him. Are you sure? Yeah. As Steffler unlocks the tablet, warned to stay off our network? I'm wondering, are we missing a space right there? I think we might be. I'm just going to, yeah, a little bit of space. As Steffler unlocks the tablet. Okay. So, as Steffler unlocks the tablet here, it feels like an incomplete sentence. My goodness. It feels like an incomplete sentence as Steffler unlocks the tablet. As what happens? So Steffler unlocks the tablet. You could omit the as, and this problem will be solved because it will no longer be an incomplete sentence. It will be a statement. So let's try that just for the sake of. Steffler unlocks the tablet. Warned to stay off our network. Smart girl. Best system this side of the bureau. And the most temperamental tech support, Quinn adds. Quinn folds his arms. Why we're mildly upset about the rush on this, they've slipped through our net before. Data issues. I kind of feel like this is supposed to be a comma. Why? While? Do we miss? Okay. Do we mean a couple of thoughts? Let me break down one thought at a time. All right. First, let's go back here. Quinn is speaking and Quinn continues to speak. So I'm kind of inclined to want that all together. And then the Quinn will feel redundant. And the most temperamental tech support, Quinn adds. I don't know if Quinn is male or female at this point. So he, it says here, he folds his arms is what I would do there. Why is it, oh my goodness. I don't want that to be blocked out. I don't know why it's doing it. Okay, let's try this. I'm going to do it this way. He. All right, so I'm suggesting that you move this text up to join this because this is all Quinn. And the most temperamental tech support, Quinn adds. He folds his arms. Why? I think this is supposed to be while. We are mildly upset about the rush on this. Comma. They've slipped through our net before. Data issues. Steffler shrugs. It's either not on the warrant, altered on purpose, or corrupted. Riley takes in the area. Seven officers, 2 female. Cameras in the rear view, potential data source. The tablet screen scrolls, inconsistencies flagged. That's irritating chameleon virus. That's the or an, or that's an, that's the. I feel like a word is missing right here. That's, that, oh, that. There's no S. This is me. Okay, let me try this again. Riley takes in the area. 7 officers, 2 female. Cameras in the rear view. Potential data source. The tablet screen scrolls, inconsistencies flagged. That irritating chameleon virus. You guys still have issues with that here? I thought it was dealt with years ago. Not fully. This hers or yours? Steffler asks. The tab? Keep your cool, just answer the question. We're on the same team. It's hers. Why? Steffler flicks through the data. Her systems can resist the virus. If you pull the data, we're golden. What? This just got complicated. So could Clemens. Afraid not. Why not? Quinn hesitates, then glances at Steffler. A few years back, she testified in court. Big case. The judge didn't like her answers. Blackballed her. Tell him the reason. Her memory was perfect, but the data, pre-blackout, the judge and his peers buried her credibility. Chameleoned, Riley mutters. A loud buzzing comes from his pocket. He ignores it, both agents reaching for their phones, checking notifications. Heads up, kid. Steffler hands the tablet back to him. Because of that blackout, it's like history has been rewritten. He tilts his head down the street. Prudent as small potatoes. Got that already. You can change that. Sam's phone rings again. The agents turn to Riley. Quinn eyes him. Do you have Clemens' phone? Why are they looking at me that way? Maybe. Best to answer that. Section 2. Edited. Riley reaches into his pocket, retrieves the device, and sees multiple missed calls from Garrett. His stomach tightens at the sight of the name. Great. The SAC is calling. What's the worst that could happen? Oh, right, yelling. Lots of yelling. And my dismissal. Why? Okay, let's try that again. Let's pick it up right here. What's the worst that could happen? Oh, right, yelling. Lots of yelling. And my dismissal shortly after. All the while, Tweedledee and Tweedledum enjoy the show. Is that? He shows the screen to the agents. Quinn's countenance shifts to one of sympathy. The boss man? Yes. Best to explain yourself now. Messing with Clemens is the biggest offense in his book, Steffler adds. Riley takes a breath. Okay, there are many things he could be calling about. Don't think about that. Focus. I'm getting that. He steps away and hits the answer button. Clemens' phone. This is Riley. Sam? Garrett starts before he catches himself. Before catching himself. Did you say Riley? Yes, sir. She left it with me. Why? The question hangs in the air. I believe she was teaching me a lesson. Unusual answer. Do you know where she is? I'm afraid not, sir, but she was fine when I saw her last. A relief to hear. Just do it. She said we could trust him. She asked me to check on something, her phone, because we needed extra bandwidth. I'm not really sure, sir. But there is something you need to ask. Sir, I don't know if it's related. If you've got Clemens' phone, it probably is. What is it? She made a call to ASAC Steiner, warrants, and not naming names, but you learned whose those were. Four, maybe? 4. And you need something in addition? I think so, sir. Then spit it out. State the facts like she's always advising. From where I'm standing, I have the 180 view covered, but the other 180 degrees, I don't. I've spotted 5 external cameras. I'll get clearance for whatever footage is available. Sir, I don't know if it's necessary. After what we found and what agents Quinn and Steffler have mentioned about Clemens and that virus changes things, and that the virus changes things, or how the virus changes things. Wondering. And that virus changes things. Or is it just a statement? It depends on, okay, so basically this part right here, first of all, we got, okay, here's a new sentence. 2, 3 commas. That's about my limit for commas. After what we found and what agents Quinn and Steffler have mentioned about Clemens and how that virus changes things, and that the virus changes things. This part right here could be read like 3 different ways, so I'm just going to leave it. That's probably why she took you and not Carter. Consider it yours. Now to where Clemens went, I can track her, but don't cross any lines. Sir, she didn't hide from me that she had another phone. 45 seconds with the Wi-Fi, I can get you the number, but only with your permission and your protection. You have both. Riley pulls the tablet from under his arm, tucking the cell against his shoulder. As he manipulates the keypad without dropping the phone, he feels the agent's eyes on him. Multitasking is supposed to look professional, right? Instead, I'm one pratfall away from a laugh track. Graceful? Need a third hand? Steffler asks. Not helpful, Riley mutters, shooting him a quick glare before focusing back on the screen. There's the number. It'll take me... Do you have transportation? Garrett inquires. Yes, her car is here and she left the keys. Dial and conference me in. I'll guide you from there. Sir? Okay, we're doing this. Moving now. Riley extracts the keys from his pocket and unlocks the car. Steffler and Quinn watch, their expressions a mix of curiosity and amusement. Gotta go, deal with that. He gestures toward the ongoing arrest of Pruden. Boss's orders, thanks. Section 3, edited. Riley slides into the driver's seat, setting the tablet and phone beside him. He's about to let Garrett know he's on speakerphone when Sam answers. What is it, Riley? She snaps. Oh, she's pissed. Stay focused. He shifts his gaze, road mirrors, phone, letting the rhythm calm his thoughts. It's not Riley, Garrett cuts in. Sorry, sir, I should be. Apprehension replaces the anger in her voice. I kind of want it to be replaces instead of replacing. I'm sure it's fine either way. I'm going to leave that. Explaining right now? Yes, Riley, you can drop the connection. He reaches for the phone and tries to disconnect, but it's non-responsive. Sir, ma'am, I know, don't call you ma'am. It's not letting me drop off. Damn it, I should be able to fix this. His fingers hover over the controls. You went to Riley, Sam sighs. I didn't go to him. He had your phone. Had me worried when I hear from Captain Barlow. Heard? Yeah, it's suggesting the same thing. I heard from Captain Barlow, and when I tried to call, it went unanswered. What in God's name were you thinking? Can either of you hear me? Riley tries again to disconnect. I can't disengage. Oh, this is not good. He waits, but neither responds. A map appears on the phone. Necessary. Dare I even ask? Depends on your specific inquiries, sir. For starters, where are you? Where I'm at. Oh my God, Sam. I love that answer. Sam! Riley shifts his grip on the wheel. Come on, please. I don't want to witness this. What? She responds. Mind offering an explanation? One I can use when the media is all over this? Garrett asks. Doing my job, sir. Man, this sucks. Sir, I'm doing what you told me to. I'm on my way to her location. Sam takes a breath. We needed an in with the locals. Bryant was on shaky ground, and no way he could handle the chaos. When what Riley found started to unravel, and the Wraith Briggs connection to Lassiter and all that 20-headed hell beast involves. So you sacrificed Chavez? Sacrifice is a strong word. New door, new allies. Sam! Sorry if you didn't see that coming. You should have, and I expected you would have. Chavez will be okay, really, and it's just what he needs. And that is in the trenches, in touch with those on the front lines, but with authority to do something more than they can. That is where he will thrive. He'll hear what they really need. He'll bring it to attention. He'll do what you and the Bureau desire because it's the right thing to do. The bridge that needed to be built was constructed without the red tape and bureaucracy. What did you do, Clemens? Stay quiet and just listen. You're certain? About as much as I can be, but it'll work. 87% guarantee. You offer nothing over 80 unless you've got something else going on, Garrett says. 87% rigged scenario catch-22. I remember that. Riley drums his fingers on the wheel. How does it connect? Or does it all? Note to self. Ask her. Yeah, Sam exhales. It's why you brought me in. Let me be the bad gal. I can handle it. Right hand doing one thing while the left is doing something else? And both my feet doing the river dance. Her chuckle carries across the line. It is important that they're focused on the scandal and not the details of what brought it about. they'll hem and haw around, and a whole new story will erupt. Facts aside, Chavez is read in, he's fine. Okay. Concern colors Garrett's voice. And you? Doesn't feel nice, but acceptable. The media, not worried. Sam, my position is easier than yours. I didn't do anything other than speak a few truths. The media, if it goes that far, is going to do more than half the job. They're going to be all over the death of Chavez's family, the dirty DEA agent, and the neglectful agency that let it happen. Let them at it. I'm a side note. It's not classified, but it was pushed aside, and why Chavez has such a chip on his shoulder. The cartel that was behind it is going to get nervous with all the attention paid. They're going to make some noise, and the story starts anew. Riley's eyes widened. Widen. Riley's eyes widened. Holy ish. They wouldn't silence me, would they? No, but the cartel might. Not cool, Clemens. Okay, but promise me. A heads up next time, we don't work that way. You see a clear path through this? Yes. Riley checks his mirrors. Terrible at lies. Even I could pick up on that one. Care to enlighten me? Sam yawns. Have a couple of days? No. That's the reason I move on it. Don't like it. You're not supposed to. You taught me that. If I said I wanted to take that back, Garrett queries. Too late. Brian's read in. Chavez is in place. It's happening and you can't stop it. The silence stretches. Say something, please. This is painful. I'm not in perfect form. Have some personal issues. I can deal. And if I can't, you'll be my first call outside of Amanda. Yes, but you know I love you. While I can draw on what others feel, I can't do this right now, Sam stutters. Like a daughter. Just know I'm here. Riley shifts in his seat. You both know better than to say things like that over a monitored line. The warrant being a big one, and not to mention he's probably at the office. Oh, it's purposeful. And why can't I disconnect? And why I can't disconnect. I do. Can we do this later? She begs. When you're ready. Don't force it. Talk later? Yeah. The call ends. Oh, this can't be good. Riley turns into a parking lot. Sam's phone is disconnected, but the map is still blinking. He takes a cursory look ahead, then behind, and spots her sitting on a bench alone near a playground. He makes sure the tablet is securely locked in the glove box, takes her phone into his hand, makes a quick check of his, and then gets out of the car. He takes his time locking the door, keeping an eye on Sam, draws in a breath for courage, then lets it out and starts towards her. Okay, and then I get to carry over to 16B, which I'll do in a separate video. Okay, this read really, really well. Also, I'm like, the whole time that Riley's not able to disconnect, they're just ignoring him. I kept wanting to stop and be like, okay, I'm thinking this. And what I was thinking was the possibilities. One, could they not hear him? Like he asked, could they not hear him? Or two, were they ignoring him? And by the end of it, we realize, as Riley realizes, they were ignoring him. And they said what they said purposefully. Which I kind of figured whatever they did say, they're not dumb. We know that by now. We know that, we know by now that everything that comes out of Sam's mouth is pretty intentional and pre-planned. And everything is kind of like pieces of a puzzle falling into place. And I'm just going to throw this out there, but over the holiday break, I was watching Bungo Stray Dogs with my daughter, and I freaking fell in love with it. I absolutely ate it up so much that I've watched it twice. It's crazy. So I think I have a new fandom to love. But anyway, it's spy kind of stuff too. So I don't know if any of you are BSD fans, but I definitely am now. So I get those kind of Dazai vibes off of Sam, where if you do know anything about it, he's like this very brilliant character who's kind of like a mastermind, and he just comes off in the most goofy, aloof way that you would never expect it. So I'm just having that kind of reminisce right here as I finish this up, where nothing that Sam does is really unintentional, and I'm coming to expect that of her. So all right, so those were my thoughts while I was reading it. It read really well, and I am ready to get to 16B and get to Sam's side of the story here. So that wraps me up for this read, and I'll see you guys next time on Mystery Red Reads.